Dun, da 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 dun, 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 dun. Welcome to the Psy Tai podcast. Welcome, guys. Let's get this mic all situated to the Psy Tai podcast. Gotta figure out what number this is. I think it's 94, 94. Hopefully, y'all having a wonderful morning, evening, night, midnight special. Whatever time is coming at y'all. Enjoy this energy. Take part in this atmosphere on the Discord or in the YouTube chat. And we can start the conversation. For those new, that's when we combine our minds with our hearts, see what our gut is saying, connect all those three circles, and just let whatever come out, come on out. So grab whatever you need, because I'm ready to have a conversation. Let's cue this intro. Where's the sound? Oh, there, y'all gotta hear the sound. I had to do that. All right. Thank you guys for coming on by. I'm going to share the page. It's been a wonderful day. Hopefully y'all doing good. Hopefully love is being spread and y'all part of the atmosphere. Y'all can find it in a little corner somewhere. It's always somewhere. Sometimes it's a little harder to find than the hate, than the anger. The anger makes itself displayed a little more vividly. But everything is there if you just search and find for it. So let's share this on the Discord real quick. Man, well, the Discord is so awesome how it connects a lot of people. Awesome. There we go. Yeah, I have a actual story that I wanted to tell. There's somebody that came to me that said they did some mushrooms. It was very, very cool. Because it was a, hold on, let me type this. All right. Yeah, we were talking and everything. She's an older lady, but she was saying how she experienced the mushrooms and she had a journey, and she was saying she was just so excited on how she had the feeling that they came to her. She's like, I didn't have to go looking or I had to do anything. It just came to me. And she was describing how it got over her trauma and everything. She said, I was able to go back and deal with trauma and come back without it. And deal with things that happened that was going on in her psyche. And for the first time during all of this and the longest time, she said she was able to have a reset and a new outlook on life, and she was really appreciative of it especially during these COVID times. But she was overjoyed. She said she wants to learn how to grow and everything. I said I can point you in the right direction. I can give you all the right give you the right links. I got the wizard hat on today. I'll point you to all the right links and everything so you can get yourself started. You don't need me. You don't need nobody. You can do it all by yourself under your own household. So it's pretty cool seeing somebody come face to face and randomly just share and express those emotions. And then when I was expressing the story about how I be hearing talking to people on the show and people be saying how mushrooms come to them and stuff, and she would say, yeah, I'm getting goosebumps just hearing you say that. So she was just really tapped in, and just her spirit was joyed up. She wanted to laugh and just dance a lot. It was for a new person. So I felt like a new person, new woman. Great hat. Hey, what's going on, Exile? Hey. Just tying on. But I have some time. At least I thought I had some time. Hey, Isla. I just started, baby. Alright, go get some water out there. It's all out there. Love you. And thank you for doing your work. Yeah, it's baby daughter. It's funny how everybody doing homeschool now, but we was on board with it right before this thing happened. We was on board with it right before everything happened. So, everything's still kind of running smooth. Got this program called Brain Pop. But it's funny that the whole world now is like being forced to do a lot of things online, including the kids who are going to grow up and have these experiences under their belt. Like they could be like, man, when I was in first grade, when I was in high school, when I was in eighth grade, Woke up at the computer, had to do the work, saw my friends doing the little things. And we already getting so accustomed to FaceTiming and filters and all these other things. The ages that we moving towards, it's way digital, way a lot more digital things is happening. I keep on sharing these things. And I remember hearing this all the way back from high school. I mean, when I was in elementary school, and they've been telling us. I guess it was the people that was doing all the coding and everything back then. They like saw a vision for the future, and now we moving closer and closer towards it, or a version of it. Hopefully not just one man's vision. That's where we get caught up at. Hold on. Live with it. Posting this on Facebook. But it's cool that the mushrooms can change a personality, well, open up a personality that fast and that rapidly. And from what she was saying, her words, without any residue afterwards. Like she didn't feel sticky afterwards, or like, oh man, I should have never did that. Or, oh, I went through that. Oh, it wasn't no regrets about the situation from her parts. It was enjoyable. And she was, like I said before, she was now saying she wanted to grow them and everything. And I was giving a little tidbit on the physical aspects of what's going on in the brain, and the new, according to the latest science, like uploaded by Paul Stamets and stuff like that. So it's a lot of interesting tools that I'm seeing that we tie on that's really relevant and can help a lot of people that's going through whatever they're going through, whether it's depression, rather they procrastinate a lot, so they want to not procrastinate, work out more, something that just get them into a different gear in life. Because not a magic pill where it's going to, oh, it's only coming through the left again.
Just on YouTube. On Discord, it's fine.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on, Exile?
What's up, man? How's your day?
Man, I'm going good so far. So far, I had woke up. I got some good food from Upper Crust downtown. It was pretty good. Picked up the my girlfriend and my daughter. We went out for breakfast. It's
Nice.
different having a car now. I got a car.
I saw that.
Yeah, I've
Mobile.
been saving up. It's my first car in like 5 years. I just been on bikes, which is cool because I got the exercise and the willpower to ride a bike.
Right.
But now I can actually get out of this little town and go to the next little town over and stuff, or go camping. I can't wait to experience camping and stuff like that. It's on. Oh, you ever watch the sunset?
For sure.
Oh, I was watching it yesterday, and I recorded it too. I got to make a video out of it. We went at the perfect time. It was like a little 20-minute hike up the side of this like mountain cliff in Bidwell Park. And then when we were looking at the sun, I didn't know it was going to do that, but it literally went behind a mountain that was like 30 miles away or something like that. So we got to watch it slowly dip behind a mountain, and it was moving so fast. After once it just hit the tip of it, I just turned my head. I was like, wait, what? So let me whip the camera out, and it just was cool. The purples came at like the last moment. I was like, wow. If I had some DMT at that moment and was brave enough or more experienced enough, I would have went for it. I remember Mountain Ninja be bringing that up.
Yeah, it's an awesome thing to see, this ass planet and this huge ass sun just moving so don't look like they're at six, right? You know, you go outside in the middle of the day and the sun looks like it's stationary. Then you still be so fucking fast. Like
yeah, there's no reference points in the sky.
Right.
No, you can't track it against nothing. But seeing it against
you've got a great hat on today.
Oh, thanks. I had to whip it out. And I gotta give credit. Shout outs to the Flight Balls, because I had this hat for a long time, but he was wearing his hat yesterday that was like this. He got a purple one. I was like, I gotta bring it back. I gotta bring it back. Get
I've
back
got
in
a
the
big
gear.
coachman's hat. Like it's like a foot tall off my head. It's like a Alice in Wonderland, the fucking what's his name, the Mad Hatter, that
Uh-huh.
like a coachman's hat. Yeah, it's a huge coachman's hat. I bought it at the Renaissance Festival. You reminded me of it. It's so dope. It's so cool to put on these ceremonial regalia. You know, because we are a ceremonial being. We are a ceremony. So to don to take on these different ethics is so awesome. That's why it's kind of weird about what's that cultural appropriation, because really native.
Yeah.
If
I understand
everything's
what
if everything's
uh-huh.
moving,
You tapping into what's there. You just didn't experience it before in your life. Like, yeah, I understand what you mean. Just bringing on different things. Like, I try to talk Japanese a lot, and I be in anime and everything.
right?
Probably
So
Japanese
is
people
that
being
culture
like,
where?
hey.
Yeah, you can't do that.
But still, look at the
Cultural
change that it
appropriation is
does.
pretty freaking racist, bro.
Yeah, it goes deep. It goes deep. And I think it mostly just about where I would just say is don't taking advantage of it and lying in it. Like it was this lady who
Right.
was she worked at a college and she was saying she was Latina all this time, but she was really white. So now she stepped down and admitted that she was white. Like she was teaching Latina studies
Mhm.
and everything. So she had a good cause. She just wasn't honest from the start. So but
Mhm.
yeah, in essence, when it's played off and you just tapping in, because when you growing up, if you're a world traveler and stuff, like I know a guy, I was just talking to a guy yesterday, and I just met him. He was saying how when he was younger, every year he would travel to another country and he would just stay there for the whole year. So
Oh wow.
he was in Australia, New Zealand, some places over there in like Europe and stuff like that. But since he said I didn't have to pay rent at home, so he would just save up money for a whole year and then just disappear. So he was
Right.
running into a lot of different things. But yeah, culture is something else because it's a lot of mind traps and mind squares that we get caught in order to pit us against each other and make us forget the
Mm.
big picture that we all after to start off with, which is to have fun. To me, have fun and be able to still survive at the same time. Like, don't forget to eat or drink water.
That's right.
Hey, did you hear about Michigan City?
No.
Wait, is that the thing? They titled this all weird in Fox News. They said Michigan City. Oh, a Michigan City. That's what they should have put. Ann Arbor is they decriminalized magic mushrooms over there.
I did hear about Ann Arbor.
That's cool. Wait, Ann
And then
Arbor, Mitch.
I
Uh
posted in tech, but I think I posted in tech. It's a new legal study for psilocybin and depression. So it's a study that it's the first study legally going on with psilocybin and depression going on in Maryland.
Maryland. What's that in Maryland? Is it a university
Um,
or something?
I think
I'm
it is a
looking now
university.
for branded aesthetic. Uh, the last thing you post underneath of the dog, where it say Lynette.
Yeah.
Got it.
No, that's the cocaine fucking spray that just
Yeah, that's what I was looking. I was
um
like, wait, that say cocaine.
that shit's easy too. Let me find it. It's in one of these channels.
I got the ethanol production. I read that one that you put in the pre-treated with steam.
Yeah, that's super dope. Making renewable fuels.
Oh, that's what they were saying. I didn't get it. Ethanol. I thought they was saying extract it with the ethanol, like to make a extract or something. I was like, I'm not getting this for some reason. Oh,
I'll
yo,
put
make
it in
cars run off of
general.
weed.
That's right. And batteries too, because hemp is more sustainable than lithium, easier to pull the energy out of it, and it holds more energy than lithium does over the long run. So it's more sustainable and ecological to be it could be having a hemp battery.
You said more efficient than lithium?
That's right.
Well, I remember when lithium batteries came out, that was the new thing. And it was way more energy than the previous batteries.
I posted the psilocybin one in general.
All right, I'm gonna check it out. Yo, everything. But that's what make you think about the game that's being played and the magic square that we've been placed in, where we've been saying where it's the narrative been that we need fossil fuels and what's that, and to do more fracking, is that what it's called, when they
Mm-hmm.
trying to find the oil and it's causing all these
Mm-hmm.
horrible side effects.
Mm-hmm. You know what fracking is?
Yeah, isn't that when they find a fault line or something and they dig into it and they release the natural gases in the air trying to find other kind of oil?
Mostly.
Something like
Instead of
that.
looking for a fault line, you're looking for, yeah, a fault line or like a break in a chasm, a co- uh, a cavity in the earth to where you can pump certain water or air or chemicals into the air into that area, and it will then change because you've then it's like pumping. You ever seen those things that they put? So you lock your keys in the car. The tow truck driver comes and he comes with this little inflatable pillow, and he puts the pillow in between the fucking your car door and the frame of the car, and the more he pumps open the pillow, a little space appears and he can fit something in the car door and then end up jimming your. You ever seen one of those
The
things?
lock. I never saw it
Yeah,
with a pillow. I just saw somebody do it with a shoestring.
it's like not like a pillow, but
Hmm.
it's like a bag
Yeah,
that
something you
is
can inflate.
impermeable. Right. And it's kind of the same theory with fracking. So you're putting something into the earth to expand and contract to be able to fucking get to what we need to. It's
No,
pretty
that makes sense to
horrendous if you
me.
ask me.
Uh-huh. It's,
They're just pumping dip it into earth.
it's like, just give me your
It's
life force and just stab the earth real quick. I need some
right.
energy. Literally stab. But that's why
Yeah,
we
that's
need these
the
conversations.
vampiric force. The
Yep.
the the stealing fire versus being able to create fire. You got fire in your blood. Everybody has the ability to make fire. You shouldn't have to steal anything from anybody. You've got the ability to create, bro. You're a fucking creator. You're a god.
And now we saying we can create it from weed that we've been smoking, giving us gas. Now it's gonna give other things gas. Somebody was probably tripping and just had that exact idea. Gas me up. Oh, wait, gas. That must mean that's above, so below. And then they was already a scientist or an engineer, so they's like, yo, I can work with this. And then that's when the
Hey,
inspiration just flooded
hey,
on through.
I'll be right back. I'll be right
All
back.
right, bro. That's when the inspiration just flooded on through. Exile posted another article I want to check out. They say the first clinical trial launched to test. Oh, let me see the chat. Launched to test psilocybin therapy for depression and cancer patients. I gotta close the window. In cancer patients. So is this the first? Because what Exile was pointing out, this was the first legal trial. Because I know it's been trials in different universities. But here go
Yeah.
one. The first clinical trial to safely and feasibly to test the safety and feasibility of psilocybin therapy with simultaneous administration and one-on-one patient support to treat depression in cancer patients was launched today by Maryland Oncology Hepatology at the Equino Cancer Center. And this is supposed to be one name, at Adventist Healthcare Shady Grove Medical Center. Once they get a mushroom in there, they probably be a little more creative. Elite. Traditional approaches to treat major depression don't work in all cancer patients. This trial can transform the way this is a quote, we help cancer patients cope with the psychological impact of life-threatening the disease. We investigate the combination of individualized treatment along with group administration for creating a network of support and shared experience that could provide long-term relief from symptoms of depression. I like that they said it's network of support and shared experience, because they just picking up what we doing over here.
That's right.
You gotta talk. You gotta talk to somebody that at least had the experience too. Because then it's like, when I'm around somebody had the similar experience, it's like, I open up a little more. Like, I'll say it to somebody that has, like, yeah, the mushrooms, they help me, and I'm able to do this. But then, like, if I'm really know somebody had a similar thing, I'm like, wow, like, I'm barely I'm talking telepathically, damn near.
Floodgates. Release the floodgates.
Like with that lady I was mentioning earlier, when she was talking, I was just sitting there because I was just absorbing, like, yeah, I know the feeling. Like, I'm getting hype off of you talking about it. I want to dive in now. I was just thinking about him, though, the day before, like that day before she even started talking to me. I was supposed to take a little microdose, but I was moving too fast, which is why I needed that microdose. It says, to go continue this article, it says, physicians with Maryland oncologically hematology, the largest independent cancer physician practice in Maryland, will enroll 30 patients into a new study over 6 months. Each patient will receive a single 250 milligram dose of synthesized psilocybin. Combined with psychological psilocybin with combined with psychological support with specially trained therapists. So they're probably gonna use 4-ACMO. The psilocybin will be given to between 2 to 4 patients simultaneously, with each patient supported 1-to-1 throughout their 6 to 8 hour experience. What if they all meet up in the other realm, since they said they're going to give it to them at the same time? Or some other and they come back and
I bet you there will be some cross communication with like minds, or minds who are able to access that same. All it is a frequency, in my opinion.
It's not too hard, is it?
through Dan Winter's work, we can look at the brain through a computer, right? Hook up the body to all these kind of sensors and watch somebody in their life. Now, when they're going through a bliss experience, there's certain geometry in these signals.
Are you talking about the theta waves and the delta waves, or something else?
All of them. There's a harmonic ratio corresponding to the golden mean ratio, the golden mean 1.618, that shows up in trading sequences in the stock market. It shows up in life, in plants and how it grows. It shows up in our brain when we experience bliss. So this ratio is a fundamental, integral part of how this realm exists and grows and compresses efficiently.
What was the guy name you mentioned?
Dan Winter.
Dan Winters?
Dan Singular.
Oh, Wengler.
Dan Winter without an S.
Danter.
Dan
Keep going out.
Winter, like spring, summer, fall, winter.
It corrected me to daughter winter. Why would y'all think y'all took away my N? That's why.
Struggle. The struggle is real.
Yeah, I'm not seeing them. Yo,
Dan Winter. Can you hear me now?
there it is. Yeah, yep, perfectly. And I typed it in as soon as I heard it. It came right up.
Yes, sir.
Sacred geometry
So,
and Islamic traditions and psychics of implosion. Oh, that's a conference. Scrolling down, seeing what's on his website.
I think his website is thetafi.net.
Theta5.net?
Thetafi. I think it is.
Yeah, it is. I went off the one I was on and just found that one. There we go. Graduated from
So somebody was just talking to me about sensors. Oh, so being able, like an auric field, an auric camera. There's probably some kind of sensor that we can read our frequency when we're shrooming. When we got our light on, when our sight, even when we're not shrooming. Get into that Wim Hof breath mode, the deep breath mode, any kind of awareness. You get into that.
Hello,
I bet you we shine like a firefly in some aspect.
No, we definitely do. I've been
And there's
wanting to
probably
do exactly
some
that.
sensor that we can build, that we can see these things and be able to, hey, this is actually going on. Like as a, not a foo-foo, hey, you fucking take some things, you do some breathing and you see some lights, oh, that's fucking great. But now, oh, this is actually happening. I can prove it to you. You're seeing what's going on inside my body. Maybe it's not that important, but I believe there probably is some way to see that frequency.
If it's important for us, we gotta make it happen. Because that was actually on my mind. That was one of the topics I wanted to bring up during the show. So you just brought it up fresh and organically. Because the theta, I've been wanting to do that for a while. So just for the reason you said too, just so I can see for myself where my brain is when it hit the theta and the delta and stuff like that, how relaxed I am, how my breathing is, my heart rate. That's why I'm appreciative of this Apple Watch I got right now. That's at least keeping track of my heart rate. Cause I had another hint that was pushing me towards this. Miley Cyrus was on Joe Rogan interview, and she was saying too how she wanted to get her brain scanned. She said just to see how I was going during different things. I was like, yeah, I want to too. So it's something to it. It's something, because you know how sometimes they'll scan the brains mostly with like autistic savants and stuff, and they be like, wow, it's something special happening in their brain, and that's not the usual thing going on. Like it's a lot going on with a lot of us, especially when you going under the a deep meditative experience that takes you like out of your body or deeper to your thoughts, or changes your neurochemistry, like with psilocybin mushrooms, and really bring all of those stuff all into one. So it's a lot. It's a lot of cool things with technology that we definitely gonna get into. We definitely going to.
It's probably already here. Like the pieces are probably already here, because we look into the infrared and the ultraviolet with certain radio frequencies, and so it would just be an algorithm, a mathematical equation saying that this is this and this is this. That, I bet you the stuff is already here.
You ever see that camera that somebody made that was taking pictures of auras? Yeah,
Yes,
get all that technology out and and just see what happened with a person when they like reaching a peak in a trip or something like that. Just have it on them, all the scientific gear, and just see how the brain the reactions is going on, like the electric reactions between the neurons, and measuring the signals that's coming off of the brain, like the delta waves and all of that. Because we always giving off stuff and receiving stuff. It's just that the receiving part for a lot of people don't make sense. Like, where are we receiving it from? And there is no real words to put to that.
I don't think we should necessarily focus. And if I was controlling this experiment or study, I wouldn't necessarily put most of or all of my focus on the subject. Also, I would also study the environment for environmental changes whenever that
Because
person
they're
is going
affecting the
through
world
whatever.
around them.
Right.
So it should be it should be detectable in the things
Right.
around them. Probably not with our senses because not tapped in like that. But how, like you said, the instruments can get the infrared, can see infrared and gamma rays and stuff like that. See something. We don't know. That would be an awesome experiment. Hey, I went back to that article just to see if they had anything else in here. So this is cool. That it's the first like clinical legal study. It has been my understanding that psilocybin, for instance, shows great potential for treating addictions to alcohol, cocaine, and nicotine. Hayner told Fox News. It also has been used to treat depression, OCD, migraines, cluster headaches, and has especially been used to deal with recognition of end-of-life issues, terminal illness. We had a caller last night saying that using mushrooms saved his life from serious depression. It was the only thing that helped him. Very moving. Very moving. That's probably how he said it. Numerous studies have demonstrated the therapeutic potential of certain psychedelic drugs. High dose psilocybin produce large decreases in psilocybin. What is that? Let's look that up. Psilocybin. Wait. A doctor having direct conflict with or responsibility for patients rather than one involved with theoretical or laboratory studies. Laboratory. Oh, having direct content. So I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but that's what it means. And
Clinician.
clinician and self-rated. I've been smoking heavy. And
Oh, good.
self-rated thank you measures of depressed mood and anxiety, along with increases in quality of life meaning and optimism, decreases in death anxiety, a 2016 in the Journal of Pharmacology found. Yeah, so they already working off things that's already been there, but you know how things gotta work their way up the ladder, work their way up the legal ladder.
And I saw in Texas there was a agricultural commissioner saying that he's down with cannabis, and that's a huge thing in Texas too, because that's a big
But
conservative
he's
state.
down with what?
Cannabis.
Cannabis?
Yeah,
Oh,
there was some guy in Texas, and that's a big thing because Texas is really conservative.
yeah, I was wondering what Joe Rogan was going to do. Smoking every podcast and then gonna move to Texas.
Change us.
I know. You know how big his mind is. He just like, man, I'm just gonna do it. I ain't gonna think about it. I'm just gonna go.
That's right. I'll walk across the street. Ain't no car gonna hit me.
Yep. Shout out to King Guys.
That's what I'm saying.
And that's the way we moving nowadays. And you see a lot of people pushing themselves to move that way. In a way where it's just, man, I gotta go off of my experiences and the peers around me that I actually trust, and we gotta stick together.
Yeah, to get outside as if there's something out there that you don't have. You're putting that subservient to you in a way, or above you, some
Yeah,
level.
we got everything we need. We got everything we need. That's what the mushrooms do too. We talk about this a lot, Exile too, but the lady was bringing this up. I forgot about how the remembering factor. Like we got what we need.
You forgot the remember.
Yeah, to remember how to work with everything you already got. but everything that you already have. Like we always building ourselves up to a point to get us to the next point. So we got to recognize the point that we at, or else we going sometimes we put ourselves in loops, and that'd be frustrating to me. But then the way to get out of it is to not be frustrated. To me, I'm like, all right. When I find myself, all right, if I get frustrated, it's gonna keep on happening. But if I just know what I'm actually frustrated about, like when I was doing when I do the deep breathing techniques, like I don't know what technique it is. I just call it the Tai technique, Tai breathing, just breathing, and my thoughts really get away from everything else, and I start tapping into like what's really concerning me sometimes, and then I'll go into other worlds, but it's other worlds as well. But I would really like in the forefront of my mind is like that come up psychedelic, like that come up during the trip stage, whereas just thinking about family and stuff like that, and place in the world and what I'm up to, but in a clear-minded
Did that start
kind of
happening right away, or did it take a little while for those effects to start happening?
It's like right away. It's like, yeah, I wouldn't really know the turning point. It's just a click. Just something clicks. Something click. Like you get that breath, you start just focusing on the breath and getting it in, and then you start not focusing on the breath because you get in the timing and the rhythm all like at a nice pattern, and then you just keep on breathing in and out, and then I just start listening just for the sounds. That's my last focus that I have. Just like instead of just trying to count, I just say just listen. I start timing myself off of the sound and stuff, and get more of a sensory thing than a thinking thing, and then it's blast off in a way. And it's really good. It's really good because we take a
When to
lot of breaths,
launch,
shallow breaths.
you know when to launch by listening to the sound of the engines.
Isn't that what we do? Like, all right, it's ready to go now.
You, you know steak's done by listen. Certain chefs can do that. They know when the food's done by listening to it.
I was starting to get like that with my steaks. I was getting real into my steaks. I was looking up all these YouTube videos and stuff and microdosing and getting into making dough and everything. So I can see what you mean. Keep taking that step, get more intimate with it.
There's the comedian too that has a bit about that, like just watching the kids but listening for them. Get out that toilet. I know you ain't in that toilet. Something like that.
You just know what's going on just by the little sounds that creaks and crooks make. It creates a whole vision.
So you're still controlling something through your breath, even though it feels like you have no control. Feels like these thoughts. You try to what, dam them up or divert the river in some way. But if you go with the stream, then you get the full force of the stream. You can move with the full force of the stream. You're not fighting it at all.
Yeah, it's like discovering yourself, your full self, and now, like, yeah, ride that current, that kayak down the stream instead of being pushed against the rock and being like, man, I'm bored or I'm frustrated. I thought it was more to this. I know I'm more, but it take a little work, take a little breathing. All it take is breathing, is breath work. I'm hearing more and more people say that too on podcasts and stuff that I'll be watching, like guests that come on, and I'd be like, yeah, I'm glad this is getting out more and more, that it starts with the breath, because we think that we breathing just because we not gasping for air. Like, I ain't gasping. I don't have asthma. I don't feel like I have shortness of breath.
You don't feel like you're lacking.
Yeah, we don't feel like we're lacking, which is a good thing to feel. But then when you just decide to make the choice to tap in, or when I decide to make the choice to tap into the breath, it opens up the other doors that I can now work on, like even the magical ones, I would say, where I can start working in other ways, where it's not me just trying to move things just physically and do things physically with brute force, or like you said, with the fracking vampirically or anything. It's like, oh yeah, I can. This flow got me. Like it's bigger than just me, but I'm a part of it as well. I'm a major part of it. I'm controlling it right now. If I stop breathing, the engine stop running. If I stop breathing in this way.
They
Anyway.
do stop running. I I wouldn't say that. There's a different way to say that. I challenge you.
Yeah. Like it still lingers, but it's like you do,
Because you're
because it's
still
like it
going,
gets
because
you.
you could hold your breath for like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and look at David Blaine, 17 minutes or something like that. So it's not like the
Uh-huh.
engine stops running. Maybe you just stop putting the energy in, like the coal on the coal train or something.
Yeah, you stop pumping so much octane in it. Like
John Coltrane.
you reach the checkpoint or a pedestal, just like a trip or something like that. It gets you to a new part in your life, or a new recycle remix part of your life, aspect of your life. Hey, Gabriel Robos, Gabriel R. Breathing is a technology. That's what this is. Using technology that's part of this machine, this engine, and learning how to pump this octane in it in order for it to run nice, run
High
smooth. Yeah, high octane engine. Because it does carry throughout your day, because then you'll start noticing when you have shallow breaths, and you'll be like, all right, you just get that random gas, like,
Notice you're holding your breath. Ever notice you're holding your breath
yeah.
at some points during the day?
I was noticing that when I was going through my tooth pain. I was like, oh, I gotta breathe. But no, sometimes when you like focused on something, I'll notice I'm like holding my breath in order to try to concentrate on the thought. And I was like, no, just let that breath out. And I was like, all right. And then it just keeps going in the way that I was hoping it would go. If that makes sense. That happened yesterday. I had to take my driver's test all over again, because I had my temporary driver's test license from Philly. I had the camera card, but since I had my face on it, in order to surrender it over to them to get a Cali license, I had to take the whole test over. So I was all walking in line, and I was like, I was all looking up all the tips and stuff. I was practicing parking for no reason. And all of that, I was just making sure I was cool. So I was in there, I was doing I had to do deep breathing as I approached the counter, because I found myself like thinking too much and holding my breath. And I was like, and then it was cool. And then when I was taking the test, I was starting to get like that again, because I'm good with tests. It's just that when somebody just over my shoulder and I'm really dependent on it because I want to get it over with and I had to deal with it again, I was just getting in that state of mind again of thinking. And then when she mentioned that she was getting bored, she's like, I'm tired, so I'm probably just bored. I was like, oh, she's pretty cool. So then I just started talking. I was like, I can breathe again. I just started talking about what I was going to make for dinner and stuff like that. And he's talking about seafood, and we were just laughing, having a good time. So I was able to just breathe and relax in the situation and take advantage of the moments. Oh yeah. Being aware of all the things going on is not really as hard as people think it is. It's not really as hard as people think it is. It just takes the actual
That's right.
know-how, like the know-how that is actually possible. And somebody knocking on the door. All right, here we come. Can you close the door? Got unexpected guest over. It's all good. It's just our girlfriend and sister and her daughter. But yeah, it's a lot of cool things going on in terms of
That's right.
mushrooms and taking control of the powers that we have and been working on over at this channel. Rather people really know what's going on or not. People gonna catch on. People gonna catch on. Cause like we're soul fam. We've been doing this for millions and millenniums and stuff already. And now we just here in this reality figuring out how to do it here. Taking the steps and going through the tutorials. That's basically what this is, going to tutorials, hyper scenarios, life and death. Facing
I know Kung
thoughts. I'll take away your kung fu. I was like, what? But that's what be happening. Where sometimes our powers probably are taken away, and abilities and thoughts and stuff that we used to have and was taken away in order for us to experience certain realities and certain simulations, like certain versions of realities running. Like, what if we didn't have this or didn't remember that we had this ability to do this? And now that's how we got the history that we have now.
Potentialities. It's easier to talk generally with society and amongst with generalities. You start getting it off into like ultimates. This has to be this. Then you start forming sides, but you definitely leave the mystery. Speak the mystery into existence as well within, and your ancestors. Give thanks to the people who came before you. I think everything's going to work out. I don't know if we necessarily know that, though, right? Maybe, I don't know. So, if you,
I know, what does working out look like?
Well, like, right? What's normal? Well, you listen to like the people, the stories that came before us, right? Because if we're all saying the same story, you're singing the same story everybody else is, but you're not singing exactly their story. You're also singing your unique story. So there is other stories that you gain from who rate. I mean, you go start listening to songs and to start reading books and stuff. You'll gain an understanding of the story, But this is all outside too. So the outside helps you reflect on the inside. There are probably people who have an internal guidance system from beyond that just shows them the way regardless, but everybody's different, so the external world does play a part in building this internal world as well. I'm just remember certain rap songs, certain hip-hop songs like KRS-One or Rage Against the Machine, or like even rock like has some of the core values of this consciousness thing that's going on abundant, like, and promoted. So like your channel does it, True's channel does it, King Oz channel, like, just shows that individual truth, because the more that you are yourself, the more other people are going to be themselves as well. Alan Watts talks about that. He's like, you want somebody else to do what you want. You don't want them to do what you want. You want them to do what you want. But you wanted to do what they free will. So it is this duplicitous, this bipolar thing. It's like a freedom, a forceful sort of.
Yeah, I get like that. And then you see that you gotta just have them have their own voice come from their inside. And just like put that art out there. Let that art be that influence. Yeah, because
we don't exist here ourselves. Even this body's a gift from our parents.
Yep, everything. And like you said, we don't exist, period, really. We're nothing but spirit, if you want to put that term on it. And then we call ourselves all of this. And as soon as we called ourselves this and our ancestors called ourselves that and stuff, we created all of this. Because that's how powerful we are. Creating existences as we go.
Yes, sir.
I think. Just ta. Just ta. Yes, Ty. Dude, cause I was just thinking about mushrooms and how mushrooms can help relationships, and that like relationships between two people, and but that help word can be spent around in human language, because that help can either help them break apart or help them get closer together.
Yeah.
Like, I remember reading some reports where they would say some couples took mushrooms and then they said the girl just wanted to leave. It was like, all right, I just seen how everything was going on, and just because their own personal reasons just had to discontinue it. And then it was other people that took mushrooms and stuff together, and it was like this was the best healing experience that we ever had, that we both specifically needed for each other, and then we're going to grow together for eternity or however long that is. So with this world, it is everything is a double-edged sword, two sides to every coin. But as long as we stay in with that flow, and know that it comes with a lot of roughness and smoothness and madness, and just getting lost in our emotions, because we're not used to being, a lot of people not in tune with their emotions, like what they really dealing, like what you said when we talk about breathing, and then you like seeing what's really flowing in your river or what's trying to flow, and you like trying to stop it, like not now. Like our emotions really go that far. A lot of people on a daily basis. I talk a lot, so I'm a lot, really, I'm in the background of a lot of things. That's why I be talking a lot, even when I'm not on the channel, or even if I'm not talking, I'm talking to myself, like it's two people going on and stuff. But it's not chaotic. It's just normal breathing kind of things going on. But yeah, we cover ourselves up a lot.
Or
no,
Libra?
I'm a Sagittarius.
Sagittarius.
Yeah, Capricorn moon. But overall, I'm unlocking all the zodiac signs.
Yes, sir.
All 12, even 13 if you want the Ophiuchus in there. But no, yeah, I'm unlocking all of them internally. That's why I'm liking the mushrooms, how they got me wrapped up in this big picture story, as well as the story of me as a Sagittarius. Because I see it as me being a philosopher and always inquiring and asking questions and researching and shit like that. And also always traveling and willing to move on from situations. Do you know what your moon sign is? Or what they say your moon sign is?
Say Virgo. No.
You said Leo?
No, it's not. No. I'd have to look it up. I have my birth chart somewhere.
Cool.
I don't know
what's your
it
sun
off
sign?
though. Sun sign's Taurus.
Taurus? Oh,
Team
we're
Taurus.
Earth sign. Strong Earth. That's cool. No, it's funny, just thinking about astrology and everything, because it has me thinking about the programming and stuff. Because when my thinking is so outside of all of this, or like my imaginations and stuff, that it be seeming that I know that to those parts of my mind, the zodiac and astrology don't apply to. But when it comes to, I'll be thinking about when it comes to this terminology, like where we are right now in this term that I'm playing out, term sentence or term play, that the astrology has a lot to do with a lot of science of the metaphysics that's going on in this world, and like the influence of emotions and everything. I don't know. I'm just going back and forth in my head, because I hear a lot of people that be denying it and stuff like that, and I'll be going through the same thing. Like, man, these stars not even real. Like, what do we say, going, like, looking up to them for and saying they influence that, and there's more stars beyond that. And I'd be like, yeah, that is true. That is true. Like, that's part of the big picture. And so I'll be going off of that, and I'll be like, man, forget astrology. But then I'll be thinking, well, the matrix that we live in is making it so everybody is talking about this. Has been It's a huge science behind it, and even magic that I be looking up and stuff be talking about certain signs in the skies, and we even with my own eyes I pay attention to the stars that's in specific positions in the sky and pay attention to them like day one and day two. Like I'll be paying attention to this red star. Come on, Rudy.
Moon
I'll be
is
paying
in
attention to
Gemini,
this red
6
star sitting in the
degrees
sky.
Gemini. I'm restless in the extreme. I'm easily bored because of my short attention span. My emotions change rapidly, and I love to promote my feelings. Generally, I have good judgment. My intellect controls my emotions. I do not overreact emotionally to things. A good jack of all trades. Yada 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 yada.
But yeah, it get real complicated if you really want to get into it, because then you gotta see what house is in, and then the moon sign really is like what's they say is internally going on, and the sun is what we give ourselves off to be, like what we do with our will or stuff like that.
Yeah, that'd be the same in neurology because it's
Mm-hmm.
there's the same kind of things show up the numbers in my name.
Oh, it
I was more
does like the
interested
same similar.
in my Pluto and then my like end nodes, like the extraneous things in astrology always, like the outliers, kind of like the generalities you're talking about, archetypes. Do we really tie? I don't know, tie. Like so, like sometimes you can look for more correlations in the outcasts or the exiles or the randomosities of things. That's usually what I relate to. Who cares
Yeah,
though?
yeah, no, the stars is everywhere. Everything's made of stardust, right? As Carl Sagan used to say, Lee. Everything made from the same thing. It's just the form of divination that comes out to you,
Right.
like we was
How
talking
you
about
use it.
before. Yeah, just what pops out to you. That's why when I get into it, I'm not able to master it like Flight Boss is. Like when I hear Flight Boss talk about it, I believe him because like that's what he grew up in. That's what he been studying. That's what he been living in, and not even looking up and learning from anybody else, but just really going off his own intuition, where he just call it down flight astrology. Because he just put his own spin on the own things he be reading and calling other people silly and stupid. So that's why I appreciate him. But yeah, we got our own forms. Mine, like we said, yours, you see the chaos that's going on. Mine's is just looking around. I just look around and I just be knowing what's going to happen. Or feelings, or how I feel sometimes be how somebody else feel, and then sometimes I don't really feel like that, but I didn't know that I didn't feel like that, then that was how somebody else was feeling. And sometimes it'd be so correlated, it'd be trying to get so correlated to my life that if that when I'm not conscious enough of it and breathing enough, I mean when I'm breathing enough, it don't really, I get out of it like that, and then it comes out in somebody else, and I'll be like, I was just thinking that earlier. Like that happens so often, and I think that's how I relate to people though. Like I probably always been doing that, but and that's been how I've been able to relate. Hey, Astro Way, much love. Is that things just be popping up in my head? I used to tell my girlfriend and people when I first met them, even to myself. That's just a saying I think I always just say. I used to tell my girlfriend when I first met her, but that it always seemed like movies play in my head. Like movies are just scenarios always playing out in my head. Like I can be there talking, and now I can get more involved in the conversations where I won't be so distracted by what's going on in my head, or nothing would be going on in my head besides what's happening in the conversation. But before it would be so turned on, I would just drift off. I would just drift off into something else, into what was to another place, just so easily, and that would be my entertainment. It would be as entertaining as watching regular TV.
I'm with you.
So, yeah, so those places, So those places now, I'm just seeing in form of divination and stuff. It's I don't know if I ever get a full like grip on it, but with the mushrooms and everything, it just I'm just fully thrown into that experience where I just believe that one day is going to be something. It's going to be something popping up in me or my kid or somebody that I talk to that's going to be doing amazing things like how we see in movies. Because we already doing it, and I think some people are and just don't know how to really talk about it, like how I don't really know how to talk about it, but I'm just tying on it, so it's going to be have some words put to it in the history books or in the Tai books or in somebody's dream. Is that a bird?
Is that bugging you?
No, I was gonna ask what kind of bird is it.
It's a pine tree bird.
A pine tree
I don't know.
bird. That sounds so fake.
I can't.
Oh.
I can't see it. It's in the pine tree.
No, I thought you were serious for a moment. I was like, what kind of scientist named the pine tree bird? What the Oh, but when I typed in pine tree birds, it say blue jays, red-winged blackbirds, mockingbirds, blue jays all spend time foraging in pines. And the list goes on and on. The red cockade woodpecker. You know, I used to know about 30, 40 bird calls.
Really?
Yeah, I learned it when I was in high school. And then I had to learn it more of them for a competition. And we had one and went to the state and everything. It was pretty cool. It was fun. But like everything, if you don't practice it, you lose it. But I had a machine. I mean, a toy in front of me that my teacher had. It had the pictures on it, and you would just press it. I would just press it and just memorize the sounds. Just get in tune with it. It wasn't that hard. It was like music to me, so it wasn't that hard for me. And she knew all of them. My teacher, Miss Saretny, she knew so many bird calls. She knew all of them and more. So that was an interesting experience.
Or a small blackbird. Kind of brownish black. Not like jet black.
Uh-huh. Yeah, the bird has the floor right now. The bird has the floor. Like, I'm taking over. I'm taking over right now. I got into his mind, made him notice me, call me out.
Yeah.
Hey. They've really been talking this whole time. My aunt used to have a parakeet that was the only bird I was close to growing up. It was a green and like white parakeet. It had his wing clipped, so it couldn't really fly, but it was pretty cool.
You heard about those? It makes me think about the Aboriginal song lines. Because he's probably like saying something, or she. And the Aboriginal song lines, like on one side of Australia, the dude will make a song. They'll just sing, I think, or I don't know exactly how they do it. But then the other guy on the other side of Australia can listen to that song and be like, oh yeah, he lives in a valley and there's these green birds that fly in the morning, and then there's dew in the nighttime, and then there's this huge, you can describe everything around him just by the dude's song.
That's an extra sense. That's a clairvoyant sense.
Right?
Hey, you know what's weird? What gets weird in reality? When you bring up magical stuff to people, and then just like the movie, they say, oh yeah, and then like bring up a scientific thing or a denial for it. That's like so
Swamp
fast, like
gas.
the the Wonderman just like going that fast. I think that's why they put in the stories a long time ago about not talking about things to a lot of people, because it can cause discouragement in the magician if they're not powerful enough. Like what I mean, determined and confident
Lacking.
enough.
You
Yeah.
see lacking. That's why you can't go around breaking people's eggs.
Nope.
You can sing. I think if you tell the
Hey.
story, so
Uh.
you just got to retell the story. Just like never ending story, give her a name or whatever. If you tell the story
Mhm.
again, then he's going to get it. You can make it up about Joe Bob Jim goes to the bim bam boom bop. But as long as it makes sense and you put the whole, put your shit in there, then it'll make sense to somebody else and they'll get what you're talking about.
Be a New York Times bestseller. Yo, I was thinking that was the other thing I wanted to talk about. How I hear a lot of people talking about the shadow governments and feeling trapped and it being a higher government that's placing ideals and keeping people aware of certain things and stuff like that. And
All
then
right.
you have other people saying that everything is just one and none of, and to not pay attention to any of those kind of things and to think like the divide the lines I'm saying right now.
Yes, sir.
And so I'll be paying attention to both sides because I experienced feeling like it was people pulling on me and no, even just in that journey that I bring back myself back to last July, I experienced all of those things in one. So from my point of view, when I hear both sides, I don't really know how to tie it together for the person, but for me, it's like I think that it's both going on. That
I
is both going
I
on.
agree. I agree.
Yeah, and that you reach the level of one, like everybody, I think everybody on each level is working to not to serve the one, but it's just the idea of whatever that one is that's even outside of the language of me saying it one, so you get the idea of one object or something like that.
Totally. Yeah, it's totally incomprehensible. There's no way we could enunciate it with words. There's no way to word it. It's
But I think
ineffable.
for the people out there, I think it is something out there that's keep people in line and keep people in check and write scripts for people. It's just that in my position that I see now in life, I have the ability to go back. I mean, to go to them and have a conversation like as family or stuff like
Right.
that. But I've been seeing it a lot I see it a lot in terms of producers and stuff like that. Don't you like when a producer or somebody produces a movie or reality, how they have a certain personality about them that seems real eccentric, where they're going to write things into the script or create moods that's so dramatic and stuff like that. In order for things to be dramatic, this had to happen and this had to happen, and it's like they just like happy about this grandioso story and stuff like that that we're a part of, that we chose to act in or experience and live in and stuff like that. But I think that is, from my viewpoint, is like really is like a correlated script, like with cameras zooming in on tears and stuff like that. And like, oh yeah, this is that moment, let's get this, they gonna love this. or or even to create sadness, and even if it's not for a real for like a one specific reason, but for a massive amount of reasons that to the producer they can see how the grass is related to the fire and the people smoking, or coming up with laws to not smoke, and that's all part of the
Uh,
script. But I see that such a literal thing, and that I think it's some magicians as well that took over some things. This is where I say I get people when they talk about the shadow governments and stuff. That is some high level magicians that work them way up to a point and stuff where they're, like I said, having fun or doing things, and but the recipients of it is what happens in this reality. Like I was
yeah.
reading the book The Magicians, and it's a what we call a fantasy novel, but I've been into the fantasy, so it's like I try to take little bits and pieces from it and try to translate it back to here. But they was talking about some high level magicians that work in other realms and stuff like that, and be practicing spells and stuff, and just trying to create other realities and do things, and it trickles off into what's going off down in here in this reality. Or it's wild. It's a lot of beings at play, higher level beings at play. And that's why I think that we're strong. Like anyone that comes to this channel, even talk about anything they talk about, like they know, and pretty strong, probably without even already knowing and doing things. I think that's where will and thought processes and clear thinking come in, because our thoughts is all connected to the script and everything. But really taking yourself out of yourself, I think, is that moment where you get to actually change things around, and then forget how you change things around a little bit, and go back into the picture and be like, man, this is all
Some
the
of
same.
this, yes,
But then
some
it's
of
really
the thought
not.
process has to be unlearned.
Yeah. Yep. Because that's what's creating what we see in the first place. So if we thinking it, and then even trying to combat it with another thought, like that combating of thoughts is creating, for me, most of the times, another unstable reality, or reality where I don't feel stable in.
Right.
That makes
Can't
sense?
just give
Yeah.
up everything. It's ground to stand
No.
on now. I'm scared. I feel like my got to drink water.
That's why the main thing we say to trippers is always stay hydrated. Keep a bottle of water on you. Just keep it on you. You're going to think you don't need it. Like, if that bottle of water not there, I had times where I have not drunk water when I used to do acid in the beginning. And I just was like, I'm cool. Like, but then the difference when you drink the water is like, now I'm chilling. I need some water right now.
Too, bro.
Hey, I'm gonna start going jogging on the trails now. Now that I have a car,
Dope.
so I don't have to ride the bike or gotta travel far to get there. I can serve my energy, then jog on the rocks and soil and everything, not just on the street. And make some more videos too.
I appreciate you. I'm gonna hang out.
You read my mind. I was about to say the same thing. I said I'm about to tie on out. All right, have a nice one, Exile. Thanks for the conversation.
For sure. Peace, bro.
Peace out. Thank you guys for coming on through. This was the Psy Tai podcast. This is your host, Santi. We all tie, but do we really tie? Sometimes I don't know, dude. Sometimes I really don't know. So share this video. Much love. Like,